Welcome, everyone. We have two big hitters on the show today. Retro Ralph, he is the host of his podcast, The Flip Side. Welcome, Retro Ralph.
Hey, how's it going, Rex and Kev Gret and
What's going
Cary?
on?
I'm getting in
well.
trouble right now for this, but we'll talk about that after.
Okay.
When
I
aren't
know
you in
why.
trouble?
You already forewarned me. And we have Cary Hardy. Cary Hardy Pinball has his own YouTube channel. Big pinball guy. Welcome, Cary.
Greetings.
Hey, Cary.
Good to be here, guys.
Thank you. And Kev Gret, as always, thanks for co-hosting.
Love it.
Okay, guys, I just want to say one thing. Okay, I want to say that I love your guys' channel because you guys have passion for pinball. Okay, it's not fly by night. Ralph, you've been doing a lot of pinball, in the past couple of years, and I love channels with passion, and I think my viewers can, they can align with that. It's all about the passion. You guys show passion. You're just not fly by night, whatever's popular in the news, and I think, Kev, you appreciate that too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We are not pinball channels, right, Kev?
Yes.
So
No, but I go to these guys because they key me in to everything that's going on, and I trust their opinion more than anybody else. So it's an honor to have them on the show tonight. So
Well, it's been
big.
interesting to watch Ralph transition in more ways than one. But
Dude, why you dude, in public? When I'm ready.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, I mean, even Ralph, we talked about it a little bit, and you made it on one of your podcasts where you were talking about, hey, you can only do arcade stuff for so long, right? I mean, you can only, do so much arcades.
Really, the thing that probably drew me into it the most is, and this is like dead honest truth. When Arcade Hollywood invited me to come along, I was actually like, he said, "Hey, do you want to go to Pinball Expo?" And it was the year that Godzilla. It probably would have been like the year after, right? Because didn't Godzilla come out and then then Expo came, but it would probably be like a year after, right? So it technically wouldn't have been new, or would it have been new? I don't know, Cary. I can't remember the timelines.
I'm trying to remember whenever I first met you, because it was at a expo, and I just can't remember if it was the year of Godzilla. It might have been, because I think that's when I set up a Godzilla LE, so I think that was 21.
Yeah. So
Wow.
long story short, when I went there, it was like eye-opening to me because that show was, and I know there's other shows that are like this, but it was all pinball. And that's all it was. And like, yeah, there was some arcade stuff, but it was very, very much like tucked in the corner. It was Doc Max stuff. And I think what I got out of that show when I left, I was like, wow, how did I not realize that they still make these, right? Which is kind of crazy to think that I was that in the dark about it. But also, like, I was looking around, it's like, oh my gosh, all these new IPs are popping up everywhere. And not only that, then the old back catalog of stuff. So it's exciting. Like, and there's always something happening. And especially right now, I mean, shoot, Stern drops X-Men and then goes, oh yeah, I guess here's a Metallica too. It's like, what the hell? Like it's crazy right now. So, there's a lot that's changed even since then, because when I got into it, you could sell a machine for basically what you paid for it. And that day is kind of come and gone now. So maybe it'll be back. Cary's probably lived through that a couple times, but
that's what I was saying about, pinball. There's just new stuff coming out, whereas arcades, there's no Donkey Kong 5. There's no Donkey Kong 6. Yes, there's these amusements, but those aren't our style games anymore.
No.
Pinball, they got these shooters, these huge machines and shooters, and they're kid oriented. Orientated, instead of kind of adults, whereas pinball has always stayed the path and just progressed, gotten better, new IPs, new games. So you can always buy something new, as Cary shows all his new stuff behind him. So
These aren't really that new. Ralph's got all the new stuff. I don't have all the new stuff.
Yeah,
he's got
right?
He's been a Stern. You're riding the Stern.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
I actually, someone said today in my chat, in my comments on my last podcast, it said something like, you're another paid shill. And I responded and I went, can you let me know where they're sending the checks? Because I just think I might just be a shill and not an unpaid shill. Maybe it would be more accurate.
Nothing wrong with the unpaid. But speaking of that, Cary, he's got to dip his hand into something else, some Jersey Jack or what? What does he have to dip his hand into?
What do you mean? What does he got to dip
If
his
he's got
hand
all
in?
Stearns,
other
I
than
mean,
Stearns.
you're calling them Stern? You know,
Well, because that's the thing is like even with me, I don't own a Jersey Jack pinball machine, and that's mainly for two reasons. One, they haven't made a machine that I've like it really thoroughly enjoyed,
Yeah.
except for Elton John. I really thoroughly enjoy Elton John. I wouldn't mind having it. The second factor is those machines cost too much money, in my opinion.
Okay.
So
And
much.
so
Okay.
if they would drop that Elton John down to a more reasonable price, oh yeah, I'd love to have one back here.
Well, and there you go, Ralph. Maybe you need to go old school, right? You got to get some older machines.
Well, this is my fourth. There's a buddy locally that knows how bad I want Williams T2, and I've always said that. Even when I wasn't into pinball, I was like, I want that because I did play that one as a kid. That was one that I shouldn't say a kid. I was probably like a teenager, but my sister went to college in Syracuse, New York, and they had one in the break room, and I remember being so bored every time I'd go there, and that was what I looked forward to. I like that game, but I've missed it 4 times. Like there's a buddy locally who sends me the link, and it's usually a really good price, and then I sleep on it and I wake up and it's sold like almost every time.
Yeah.
And right now the prices on them are like a lot lower than they were when I was looking at them years ago. So yeah, I keep missing out on it, but eventually I want to get. Well, I don't have any room now. So
Yeah, you're out of room.
Yeah,
You're
right.
out of
the
room.
garage.
I'm
the
gonna
garage
ask
needs
you
to
a,
get
guys, a
cleaned out.
tough question at the end. Before we go, I got to ask you a tough pinball question that you guys are going to be like, ooh, I don't know if I can name it, but we'll get to that at the end. Keep people kind of on their toes for that one. All right, let's jump into Expo. All right, let's jump into Expo. I want to show the schedule of events. This is just Kev. You were
Insane.
looking at this. Talk about it.
Yeah, I don't know how you prepare. So Cary and Ralph, how do you prepare for a show like this where it's nonstop if you go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? And how do you plan out what you're going to do?
Yeah,
mean-
are you doing any of this stuff?
Well, this is the good thing about this industry and hobby is that there's a little bit of everything for everybody. So there's a lot of people in there that are just there for restoration stuff. That's their thing. That's all they care about. And repairs. There's people that are there for only the new stuff. There's people there that are only for the tournaments. There's just so many different tribes among us in this. And so this is not for everybody. All of these events and seminars and everything like that. So that's when you see this, you kind of just go through and go, ooh, that interests me. I need to add that to my agenda. Like, ooh, that interests me and stuff like that. And that's how I look at it is that I go, oh, no, don't care. Already know it. Whatever. Oh, I want to go see that. So I do that.
Well, I saw Jersey
I
Jack
agree.
tour on here. When was that,
Yeah.
Kev?
I believe Jersey Jack is tomorrow, isn't it? Wednesday. I'm sorry. Wednesday's the Logan. Thursday's Jersey Jack. Friday is Stern. Ralph, are you going
right
to
here,
any of
Jersey
these?
Jack, 8:15 to
No,
2:15.
and that's the thing. I think, like to what Cary's saying, like also if you've gone multiple years, right? If you go a lot,
Yeah.
there's things like once you do the tour, the only one that I can see right now that people might be like a little bit more interested in is the Stern one, maybe because they if you didn't go to one of the years where they moved into the new facility, that's kind of it's like the most impressive pinball manufacturing facility there is, right? So I mean that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I think if you go multiple years in a row, you'll find there's redundancies in the schedule. So you're probably like, oh, I've been to a Interium like 1 million times for that bumper. That they do that bumper blast welcome party. The problem with it is a lot of people go, and there's so many people there that go because they bus them all over that you really can't. I don't know, Cary. I don't know if you. I always feel like I can't play many games. If you're there early, you can, and then after everyone, there's like many people deep. So it's not. It kind of like loses its luster like pretty quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never been a fan of waiting in line to play a pinball machine.
That's what we were just talking
And
about.
like last year at Expo, that was the deal with Elton John. There's a little bit the deal with Labyrinth, and so that's why I was really cheering on Jersey Jack, hoping that they would bring a lot of avatars. That way, everybody could have a chance to play the game and not be standing there waiting in line. Especially at the machine, when you get to it, you don't know the shots yet, so your first game is more than likely to be crap.
Gonna be,
Oh my gosh, I spent 20 minutes in line to get up there and be like, oh, I lost all my balls. I'm not waiting in line for that again.
I don't know if you remember this, Cary. The only reason why I had fun playing Labyrinth is because you had played it a couple times and you were like, I don't know, you were in that area and you were telling me what to do. But had you not, I would have had that first 3-ball experience where you go to a new game and you don't know crap about it and you're trying to figure it out. And then it's good and bad, right? Because unless you're going to want to go through that line again, if it's a new game that's really hot, you might only play it once and you're not probably going to get a great experience. That's the only bummer about these shows. So Stern tends to bring a ton of them, so you usually are okay over there. But even there, they get pretty deep. Jersey Jack, I think, messed up last year though. They should have brought way more Eltons because that line was stupid.
Well, they announced it at Expo last year too. It was like the first day of Expo. They're like, Elton's here, and then they put it out on the floor, both of them. Or was it 3? I can't remember if it was 2 or 3, but it was one of those, 2 or 3, and the line was ridiculously way too long.
Cary, so what's the proper etiquette? Wasn't this show last year when you were filming a gentleman and he wasn't too happy with you?
All right.
Wasn't it?
I'm trying not to curse, but just thinking about it's getting me upset again.
The
So
funniest thing ever.
I'm gonna do my damnedest this year to either ask for permission or
Okay.
just kind of stay a little further back, because some people that go there to play these games just don't like anybody to be near the game and around them. And at night, it can be distracting. And I guess, you wait in line to play a game. You kind of want to have the best experience that you can have. So I can understand to an extent. But there's just a better and nicer way to go about asking.
Yes, 100%.
That was my problem, kind of thing. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he's an attitude with me. I'm going to give a little bit of attitude back. And then it was enough to where I was like, okay, before I get into a fight, I'm just going to end this stream right here.
For the people that
There's a
remember
video
that.
clip somewhere of us recreating that where like there was, and it was funny. There was a guy legitimate that we're friends with playing Guns N' Roses, and it was like toward the end of the night, and we're like, let's recreate the Cary thing, and we were all shoving our. And the thing is, he ended up getting a little bit pissed because he was having like the best game he's ever had on Guns N' Roses. He said, "Come on, dude!" And Stringer had like a. He had like a, the dead cat on a mic, but he had this like super fuzzy one, and he was like putting it on this guy's nose. I'm like, dude.
I would like to do a much better quality recreation of that. Someone enjoying the game, and all of a sudden, one microphone or one camera comes into view, and he kind of just whatever. Then another one comes in, and then eventually they're just all over the place, and the guy can't see the playfield.
We just keep getting closer and closer to him until he's like,
Where all these damn ring lights come from?
Then
we
it's
might have
you
to
know.
actually find someone that looks cool and do that to him. But
Yeah, do it to somebody you know, not the guy last
Yeah,
year.
I know,
He
right?
went
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't remember what he looks like or anything, but whatever.
Yeah.
All right, we got some questions here really quick. We're already losing time because Ralph likes to talk too long. Hey, so the lines compared to, like last year to the years before. Now, Ralph, you've been there like 3 years, I think. Cary, you've probably been
This will
there.
be
I
my
don't know how
fourth,
many years.
yeah.
Are the lines growing? Is the crowds growing? What's happening?
No, I mean, it depends on when the game was released and if everybody's got a chance to play it. So not a lot of people have got to experience X-Men yet because mainly the LEs have been delivered.
Yeah.
Not many people have got to experience Avatar yet. I mean,
Yep.
some people wait till these shows because they're so close to the show. Everyone's kind of experienced Labyrinth. Everyone's experienced Pulp Fiction. If CGC is bringing their new code for Cactus Canyon Remake, I foresee that having a little bit of a line.
Yeah.
But it's mainly going to be people waiting to play Avatar and Uncanny X-Men.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Tournaments. There's a tournaments. Any Ralph? You getting in any?
Well, I wanted to, but when you look at did you see the font on that freaking agenda schedule? Like you can't even read. You need like
we blew
bifocals
it
to
up.
read the damn thing.
I know.
Yeah.
So, well,
blew
you
it
guys have
up.
it blown up, but
Yeah.
I don't
Enhance.
Blew it up,
understand the tournament. Like
Enhance.
I don't understand joining these. I was trying to, and it's like I feel like if you're not there for the qualifier, you can't go. I don't know. I got to figure it out when I get there, but hopefully I'd like to play in one, but I don't want to commit a whole weekend. But obviously there's such good players there that I'd probably be knocked out super fast anyway. But
Yeah.
I would like to do it at least once at Expo. I'm sure I'm going to get completely annihilated because even locally, there's some really good players here in
Yeah,
Arizona, and
exactly.
I
And
end
you
up
don't want to have to wait
ranking
around.
close
Is
to
it
the
my
bottom.
turn? Do I have to play? All this stuff. So
Well, and I don't know if I want to like. The one thing I keep saying to myself every year is I'm not going to film that much, and I'm not bringing anything. I'm bringing only my podcast stuff. That's it. So I plan on playing. That's what I want to do is just play. So
all right.
You're
Awesome.
not going to do like a short film like last year and everything?
I don't plan on doing that. I don't plan on doing that.
Let me get this $4.99 from Lord Donkey Balls. Thank you very much. We were talking about you, LDK, because I told these guys I met you actually in person. We played pinball together. Awesome lineup tonight. Thanks, Rexer, Kev, Raul, not Ralph. It looks like you
Not
have a new name, Raul. I think that's a misprint. And
Yeah.
Cary. So Raul, hopefully
cool.
you get to meet Lord Donkey Balls. Are you going LDK too? I can't remember if he's going or not. Okay.
I think he said he's there. Yeah,
Oh, he's already there.
Oh,
I think so.
Okay. All right. All right, we will talk about the new Metallica, but let's get through a couple more things. The last thing on the schedule events, Ralph, I know there was something exciting here, and it was John Hancock is doing a 1-hour breakout session, and I know you're going to be excited for that, right?
YouTuber section, it says.
Well, I think it's interesting this year that they've decided to really to merge with that other show, because the thing, and maybe I'm like a little bit of an old school. I'm a very like, I'm a creature of habit. I like when things are a certain way, and I feel like sometimes you just don't mess up something that's a good thing. And so this year they decided to merge with, I can't remember, it's called like AVS or something. It's another conference that happens in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. That's all video games. It's like video game, like traditional stuff, like console gaming. And so there's gonna be a whole slew of these vendors too on the console gaming side. And I just can't help but the thing that was special to me about this show, because this was the only real like true all pinball show I've ever been to, is because it was all pinball. I think that's what made it cool. Because everyone walking around, you weren't going there if you weren't really into this, and it's like crazy how many people are as obsessed with this stuff. So maybe it might water it down. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But I liked it the way it was. But I'm also a creature of habit. Maybe other people will think it's really cool. So
Cary, they've never tried this before in any of the past expos to open up the field to retro gamers, or how has that happened before?
No, I think last year was
they
actually
brought
the
AtGames
first
last year, right?
Yeah, but I think last year, when you're talking about seminars, right?
Well,
Or-
seminars, retro consoles, putting out retro video games.
Consoles in general have always been at the show. There's a certain person that brings in a bunch of them for people to play on, even the retro CRT TVs and stuff like that. I sat down, I think it might have been last year or the year before, and beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I was like, it's my go-to, just default sit down there, put a code in and just beat it. So it's not a nice little takeaway. Every once in a while, I take a break, just play some old school gaming. But yeah, AtGames was there last year with their virtual pinball. This year, we've got a couple of other newcomers that are going to be there.
I wonder if the lines will be longer. You think more people will be there because of this?
That's a big show, supposedly. That one show they're merging with is supposedly big.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, so you might have people doing what Cary did with no pinball etiquette,
Oh, so there's two different expos going on at the same location.
They're merging with that other show.
Yeah.
So this is the first I've ever heard of it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So be prepared. Be prepared for some non-pinball etiquette.
That'll be interesting. No, because
they've
had other shows, but they've never been anything somewhat related to pinballs. So there's always been like some sort of convention for like, I don't know, selling.
Yeah, it's called. I know what it's called. It's Video Game Summit. So that's a local show, I guess. That's all video games, like console stuff. Yeah. So that's gonna get intertwined, and it's like all collecting and that. So I don't know. The one thing that'll be interesting is like, are they gonna bring everything they normally bring? Because if they do that, you're gonna have like a lot of the, you go to those shows, it's like the art booths and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe they'll have. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, because I think it's gonna be a lot larger in vendor size, and a lot more like diversity in vendors if they're merging with this Video Game Summit thing. So
all right, let's get the low-hanging fruit out of the way. Cary mentioned it. AtGames. AtGames last year, I believe, was there, and it was a disaster. Ralph made it a disaster. Cary,
it was terrible. The guy's like, "Oh yeah, the code is like not good on this." I'm like, "Well, why'd you bring it?" Like,
So, and this is part of the title. The first impression was god awful, and people just haven't gotten over it, in my opinion. It is much better now. They've improved the lag, but it's still not 4K. It's all blurry. They kind of lied to people. Cary, you shared a piece of information. Didn't they want you to come to the booth?
Yeah, they sent me an email like wanting to know if I was coming to Expo again, and if I would like to meet up with them to discuss their new Jurassic Park. I think is what it is, 4K. Yep. And I was like, I'm going to be talking to everybody. I'm not setting up appointments. Like, I'll swing by there, and then like, oh well, I won't be there in person, but we will have so and so there and so and so there, and they can answer any of your questions. And I'm just like, all right, well, it's like, I don't think I'll have any, but I'll go by and look at it. But I remember like last year, I walked up to it and I was like, I'll tell you right now, I'm not sure who I asked him like, what's your target audience? And he's like, everyone. And I was like, well, I'll tell you right now. Pinball people are not going to like your coin door being off center. Just telling you right now. So you better fix that. Like, oh yeah, because we had the plaque. And I was like, no one cares about that plaque. I was like, I told them this blatantly. I'm like, I'm giving you free consult here. I'm just like, we like symmetry and this is off-putting to the pinball enthusiast. Now, a lot of people don't care; they're not going to notice. But every true pinball enthusiast is going to see that coin door and go, "Mm-mm,
That's
I don't
weird,
like it."
Right.
Well, and
right.
it's like it looked like it was 3D printed in like Kev's
Yeah,
garage.
Exactly. It wasn't.
No offense,
yeah.
Kev. Man.
Ralph, they didn't invite you then to come to the booth. I would assume.
No, but last year, because PK and I have had several little tiffs here and there
Oh,
throughout the
yeah.
years, and
Yeah.
so he was coming out of his out of the elevator banks, and I was going in, and we
No.
literally met face to face, and he was like, but he was nice. He was really nice because he's like, "You're that guy."
He's like, you threw my product in the pool. I know you.
Yes, yes.
And
He
see,
got
that's
that.
how Ralph meets everybody. Because last year at Expo, Ralph, that's how we met.
We did. We met in the elevator. I know.
Elevator door opened up. I was like,
I know, it's crazy.
That's funny. All right, I'll get out of the other issue. Was the what was it Wonderland Amusements? They want us to ask you about those. There's any interest, any thoughts, Cary? I don't think you even touched on it yet on your channel.
I was gonna do a video talking about everything Expo, and I'm like, I gotta edit it and stuff, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna go there, and then I'm just gonna like do it there, like screw it, I'll do it live, kind of thing, or whatever, and we'll go through it. But from what I can read and tell so far, by the way it's even described, they say it's like pinball for everyone, and I'm like, okay, so it's not gonna be. Or they said pinball for the home for everyone, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I can already tell, even going by the people that are, been in the industry for some odd 30 years or whatever, it seemed like every one of them was related to some kind of toy, whether it be Mattel,
Yep.
Arcade 1-Up,
Yep.
something
Yeah.
toy
New
related
Wave.
across all 4 or 5 of the people that were on that list. And I'm like, okay,
Yep.
so I can already tell that this is definitely not going to have a coin door because they specify it's going to be consumer related, consumer market, and if they're looking for the price tag of around $2,000 or less. You're not going to have licensing. You're not going to have the typical mechanical stuff that you're going to see in your everyday pinball machine. I'm just kind of curious of how they're going to be able to pull off that price tag and what it's going to look like. I mean, it's going to have to be a watered down version like Arcade 1-Up, pinball.
Well,
style thing.
Kev, you're the target audience, in my opinion. You don't want to spend 10 grand on a pinball, because you're not
I
that
want
big.
to.
But well, you want to, but you
I'm
can't pull
poor.
the trigger. But
Yeah.
but you're not interested in this, I don't think.
No, I'm not even interested in the AtGames 4K at this point. This is still satisfying every virtual pinball itch I can do right now. And
Yeah.
if I got a PC, a Switch, there's no need for the $2,000. And this is a long ways off. And there's no way they're going to hit their goals with this.
Yeah.
It's just
All right.
it's overachieving.
And if people don't know what we're talking about, it's just a company making a very inexpensive pinball. It's supposed to be around $1,000. Ralph touched on it in his flipping. Any
Yeah.
last thoughts on his
I
flip
emailed
side?
the guy because I was really he emailed me, and then I kind of like sat on it and ignored it for a while, and I'm like, I really want to ask this guy what the price is going to be because like what is he thinking? Because I read the website and I'm just like, this doesn't say anything. I mean, the only thing it implies is that whatever it is Alice in Wonderland inspired.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he sent me back the email, he's like, yeah, we're shooting for under 1,000. And I'm thinking to myself,
How?
and I wrote back, I go, let me just ask you, you're a mechanical traditional pinball machine for under $1,000. And he's like, yeah. And I just feel like I'm with Cary. You look at the people that are going to be involved with the project. They're all, you have ThinkUp, which was the development arm for 1-Up for Arcade. So that's that guy,
Jerry.
right? And so they got him. Then you have a couple of other like New Wave Toys people.
Yep.
And then I think someone else that was also an ex-Arcade 1-Up person. So, I mean, they have toy backgrounds, to Cary's point. So it's like,
Yeah.
what are they really going to make? And this is another thing where I feel like people misunderstand me when I say stuff like this. I just feel like certain things, when I'll equate it to this. I got really into home theater when I got like my first job, right? I worked at the mall and I got into home theater and I'd save all my paychecks. Oh, I'm going to build the baddest ass home theater setup, right?
Yeah.
And I kept looking in the remember when you'd go to Circuit City and they'd have like a line
Oh,
of stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's like, it'd go from crappy to good, right?
Right.
And I knew I could only go like 3 receivers over and 3 pairs of speakers over. So
Yeah.
there was like 25 better ones in that direction.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anything. And I bought this stuff. This is going to be awesome. Bought my subwoofer. And it sounded like absolute shit. But I didn't.
Never
I
what you want.
convinced myself that it was awesome, right? Until I started making a little bit more money and I started upgrading. I was like, man, I didn't know anything. And I was almost like, wow, it's almost offensive that this is even called home theater stuff because it was so night and day different.
Right.
And I think in every hobby, there's always like levels of stuff. But I just think with a mechanical device, there's so much mechanics in a pinball machine and you got a steel ball hitting all this stuff. I just don't know, because obviously it's not going to be a full-size cabinet. So is it going to give you that same, like, is it going to give you that same feeling of going up to a full-size pinball machine and escaping in that reality for a little while? I don't know.
If you haven't played a real pinball in 20 years, maybe. But Cary, I got to ask you, it's Zizzle. I don't know much about this.
I was actually just gonna say, Rex, bring up an image of Zizzle. They've got games like Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, stuff like that. It's basically what you may see on Facebook Market at any moment that someone's probably trying to sell for $75. I don't know what the retail is for, but I mean,
I thought they were $400 or $500. They weren't.
I mean, because those were
money.
Plastic, right? There
yes,
wasn't
they were
like
plastic. I wouldn't call them mechanical on what these guys are trying to achieve. Yeah, there it is.
Oh, this one doesn't even have legs, but they do come with legs.
It's
so
the
I'm
rare
guessing
version.
it's going to be something.
Rare.
It's got to be something like that, right? Because I mean, what else can you really do?
There's a good one.
I mean, look at it though. That's going to give you the feeling of pinball.
Because that's the only way I could see them getting it down to that price tag. And they say it's for the consumer, like the home market. So that makes it to where they know it's not going to be able to accept coins. So what do? You take out the coin door. And I know that by doing that, you're already going to turn off the pinball enthusiasts, because that's what Turner Pinball had to deal with last year with his Ninja Eclipse. He changed the style of the cabinet. Like I said, as pinball enthusiasts, we're very particular. We like our things a certain way. And so when you bring the game, it plays great quality. I looked inside it and all that kind of stuff, but it didn't have a coin door. And that immediately put in our heads, this is cheap. We don't want it, kind of thing. And it all, and he, after speaking with him, he's like, I could easily make it a regular cabinet. It'll be cheaper if I make it a regular size cabinet. I'm like, well, then you better do that. And so that's what he's done. And he's going to be bringing all these games and everything to Expo this year, showing off his Ninja Eclipse in a regular size cabinet and stuff.
So Rex, one more thing on this Wonderland Amusements real quick.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's really much to get excited for as far as their attendance at the show, because I asked him what they're bringing to the show. He said, we're bringing a cabinet without a playfield. So you're going to see what the footprint is. And he goes, and if you book the meeting or whatever with Jerry or whoever it is, they'll show you the conceptual designs. And I'm like, so you're bringing an empty cabinet to the play? I don't know. I just feel like, I don't think people are going to get hype over an empty cabinet. That'd be like, imagine if Ninja Eclipse, he came and he just had a banner and it was a cabinet with nothing in it. You'd be like, cool.
Well, that's the thing is that he started out with basically a whitewood and bare wood machine at a TPF a couple of years ago. And by the end of the year,
but it was playable,
Expo,
right?
You could play it, but it looked pretty rough. But then by the time we got to Expo, he changed the cabinet. It looked much more put together, and then he had to make changes again. So, but it's continuously improved kind of thing. Versus this one, we don't know where it's going to go. But like you said, with speakers, people are going to be at Expo seeing all these great machines from all these great manufacturers and what all they can do. And they're going to walk over to this booth and be like, what the is this?
Never underestimate the power of the Arcade 1-Up community. There will be 9 hours of a picture of this cabinet being talked about. Trust me. Yeah.
I just think, right, if I was that hard up, I'd just go to there's so many great pinball bars around the United States. Like, go find a good one and get out of your house and go play that, and that'll scratch your pinball itch for sure, right?
All right, let's move on to the good stuff. We got Alice in Wonderland, we got Metallica, we got X-Men to talk about. Cary, I'm going to give you a hard time on this one, this Alice in Wonderland.
Go right ahead.
I am not excited at all for Alice in Wonderland. I don't care if it's the theme. Maybe the game's great, but I know you
that right
continually
there. That's exciting. That right there. Look at that. Rewind that, Rex. That's the coolest thing ever.
That's
Look at
the best call out in a video game or pinball machine history.
Let me say one thing, okay? I'm not excited about the theme, and you said you were very excited about Alice in Wonderland. I also want to just say about the sexuality of it. I don't think it's a big deal at all for these people going over the sexuality of the machine. I just think as grown men, you realize that this is an elderly Alice, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Elderly.
You know,
not
elderly,
as you can see,
she's gonna have a walker on the side.
Back in my day.
Like that. You know what I'm
No,
talking
so
about.
let me clarify. What I have always stated about Alice since I was even under NDA is that I've always specified two main things. One, it's a beautiful machine. Two, I don't know how it shoots. Those are the main two things I've always stated. I'm like, as far as me just looking at it, I'm like, it looks good. Does it shoot well? I don't know. And even after the stream and everything, I still don't know.
No.
It's like,
Now, you guys were more critical on I didn't mind the voiceovers and some of the call outs. Yes, they were a little quiet or whatever. I didn't mind the art. I didn't mind the video. I thought it was all good. But, obviously I must not know Alice in Wonderland too well.
Wait, but
no,
did you
it's
see
not
the
just Alice in Wonderland. It's just pinball, how a trailer is put together in general.
So the trailer did them kind of no favors.
No.
All right? And
if
so
it
it's a
wasn't
bad
for you
first
guys
impression
covering
of
it,
that.
honestly, I think if I just saw that trailer, I would have been like, wow, like what's the budget over there to do like their just this, you know what I mean? Because I could easily probably pay Mason a couple $100 to make something way better than that, So it's just like I don't know who they worked with that.
Yeah,
but it just
they're
wasn't good.
aware, but you got to think that they also only release a game once a decade, so it's like
Yeah, they forget how to do
But
it.
like, so the thing is, I didn't see that they literally sent us the media package, all the high definition pictures, and then it was like, I don't want to just go through a slideshow of me hitting the space bar. Okay, this is a picture of this, so I like quickly, like less than an hour, just slideshow fades and a little bit of effects just to kind of give someone a little bit better a visual so it looks somewhat decent. And they're like, oh, we got the trailer in. I'm like, okay, good. It's kind of last minute, but I hadn't even watched it at that point. Yeah. So I was like, all right. So I downloaded it, got it, and showed it to everybody. So I didn't know what it was going to be like either.
They should have showed you it beforehand.
And
you
like,
gave them a couple
if they would have showed it to me before, I'd be like, you can't. No, don't.
And I feel like I could be making this up, but I felt like after it stopped playing that you had like an uncomfortable pause before you started talking again. Like you were trying to process it like, oh man, that wasn't
I
good.
was like, I was expecting it to be, I knew it wasn't going to be Jersey Jack quality kind of thing. Right. I was expecting it to be a little rough, but after watching it and everything, I was like, that's not good. I mean, like, we went to the stream to show off some gameplay and everything. And like beforehand, we're doing some test stream, and he's like, "All right, this is the overhead view," and I was like, "You need to put a spotlight on that play field or something because it looks dark."
Yeah, and I watched a lot of that, and the quality was just God. You got to have good quality on those types of streams because they're so difficult to show. They're so difficult to get the audience.
It was out of my hands. This is what he wanted to show, and I was like, all right, so here we go.
I mean, but
kind of
they're
thing.
not the only ones. I mean, I honestly almost didn't. I almost canceled my order of Uncanny X-Men, and it's nothing against the guys. They're all really great pinball players, but I think the fact that they were wearing the costumes was like really affecting their play. So I didn't get a good glimpse. I was like, does this game, it made it, I literally saw it and I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those games I'm going to put in. It's going to be a complete brick fest and it's going to drain like crazy and I'm going to hate it. But I love it. It's really fun. I'm sure we'll get to that. But so even Storm can screw up sometimes with that kind of stuff. And I'm sure there's no way they finished that stream and they were high-fiving like that was awesome. I think they had to feel that was not a good representation of the game.
For me, luckily, the saving grace, even during the basically before the stream, he had his cell phone, is getting up into the play field. I'm like, okay, good. At least we got this footage because this shows off the coloring. You can get real close, show off these sculpts. I'm like, thankfully, you've got that. The gameplay portion above it, it's gonna be bad. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat it. I knew it was gonna be bad. I was like, oh, here we go, though, kind of thing. And so it was out there, and at that point, they already sold out. So it was like, all right,
it didn't matter.
Yeah, here's the other thing, Kev, we talked about is it was low energy. The X-Men stream, the first one, it was low energy to me.
It wasn't
you
their
gotta
normal
have those
thing
energetic,
for
those
reason.
fun streams, the back and forth, maybe even a little competition, but I don't know. Okay, so can they overcome it? And it's going to be there, right? They're going to have Alice there.
They're going to have 3 Alices on the floor for everyone to play, and that's when it's going to be, in my opinion, a make or break for it. I mean, even though all the deposits are in for it, but I think that's where all the real feedback is going to be coming in to see how well the game shoots. Okay. I think for me, the big learning curve for this game is going to be the upper play field. I think there's going to be a lot of complaints about how to use the magnets because not a lot of people are familiar with that. Even if you play Twilight Zone, it's one of the usual complaints about that game is like they don't really know how to play or use the magnets, and I think it's gonna be the same thing when people play it this time around. And
although Kev, you're not excited about Alice in Wonderland, are you? That's not your theme. No. But I'll say this: does the theme once Godzilla came out and people were like, the theme Godzilla, and you can't tell me that people were excited about Godzilla, a show 50 years ago that people
70.
were excited about. Nobody was excited about it, and they overcame that tremendously. So they kind of set the, hey,
Yeah.
screw, to me, I'm sure there were pinballs before that, Cary, but to me, Godzilla set the tone of don't worry about theme.
Well,
So,
a lot of things put into play that made Godzilla so great and why everybody loves it so much. And one of the big things that made Godzilla what it is obviously the gameplay too. When we saw the release trailer for the gameplay, I even have it on my video where basically, Keith, he didn't say, "All right, guys, thanks for watching" or whatever. He like purposefully drained his last ball and he just left. I was like, he knew that he just sold this game because it looked amazing, kind of thing. And you have all the different mechs, including the tall building. We haven't seen that many awesome looking mechs in a machine in many years, kind of
And
thing.
like really fun ones. Like they're all fun. I think that's the thing. They're just all fun. Like I the funny thing is when I got the 70th, because I got rid of the colored one, and when I got it, it like reinvigorated me. I started playing it more, and I'm like, man, this game's just really good. Like the game is just awesome. Again, it's just fun. Like my wife, she loves playing that game because there's like some things on it that you can just teach someone that are really basic, and it's just exciting. Like the whole building coming down is super exciting for someone, and all the ball, and then the Blue Oyster Cult song, like everything just melds together. It's just all too well with that game. So.
Yeah. Well, that's why I think I'd like Iron Maiden just because of Run to the Hills, hearing that. Now, I played it at Pinball Hall of Fame, but you just didn't get the whole experience on it. All right, we got Ralph. We're running too long because of you.
I can go a little over, but I just want to let you know, dude. Before
Don't blame me.
Like you don't understand. No, you don't understand. When I go on trips, stuff happens to this house. The house breaks, and literally, I know what I just spent the whole night replacing every smoke and CO2 detector in this house because I'm not leaving. And some shit is beeping while I'm gone, and I just went. We've been having problems with those. I replaced them all. So
I had the water heater break one day before a weekend trip. The
that's
day
pretty bad,
before
actually.
went all over, and that was a nightmare. All right.
Anyway, sorry. I have still a little bit
X-Men,
more
Ralph. Say your X-Men piece now. Now let me go back because when again I didn't another game where didn't mind the voices. Wolverine was a little off in my opinion. Didn't mind the video. Didn't mind the cartoon characterizations. Didn't mind any of that. And then other people had issues with it. I don't know why, but go ahead, Ralph. It's your game.
Well,
You got one.
this will be a little repetitive because I already said a lot about it, but I feel like the way like the shots are really fun and they're very unique. So like you have that going for it. So it's like a game that Stern made that's definitely going outside of their normal, very safe thing that they've been doing over the past, like, I don't know, probably 10 years. It's like everything is just very safe, right? So this is very different. You've got the offset flippers. You have no traditional outlane on the left side. You have this danger room thing. There's just so many cool things. You got a sentinel hand that breaks the wire form. You have one that shoots the ball. By the way, I have to tell you about this, but they have, there's the other sentinel hand can hold the ball and then bring it either back down to the left flipper or shoot it back up the ramp. But here's something awesome. Well, not awesome. So mine wasn't shooting it back up the ramp. And I'm like, what the hell? It'll just hold it and then it puts it back down. I'm like, what's going on? So I went into the Stern group. I'm like, is anybody else having this problem? Well, when I got mine, I unboxed it. This was the day I unboxed it and then went to Rudy to help him with his Iron Maiden. So I unboxed it and then it just did it. I had it all online, Insider Connected. So while I was gone, it was updating the code. So I never played the original code. Well, in the original code, that finger thing is working and it's sending the ball up the ramp. Well, I guess when they just did the code update, that broke. Yeah. So right now, I'm very curious to see when I get to Expo. Multiple people confirm that in that group. They're like, yeah, the new code wiped that out. So I'm assuming, and I know it works because I go into the service menu and I can play with it. It works. The mech works. So that was kind of a little disappointing. And then there's a couple things like outside of it shooting well, I think the artwork's great. Like everyone, I don't know, the Zombie Yeti guy just creates cool artwork. I like it. There are other people that say that they have fatigue. I just think he's just really talented and I like everything he does for the most part. And then, but there's been a couple things that have put dampers on the release. Like there is a problem where when you plunge the ball for your very first time, it doesn't make it all the way around. I guess I'd call that an orbit in the back, but it doesn't make it all the way around. It will maybe like 50% of the time. And that's the case with a manual plunge or the auto plunge. And Stern, I don't know, has even really acknowledged this fully yet, but I got to think the ones on the show floor, if they either are going to fix those because it kind of sucks. Because if you want to get the skill shot, like you kind of need that to come all the way around. So, but all in all, even issues aside, which by the way, I don't feel like we should have to deal with that. Like Stern
No.
should obviously fix
But
that.
you've had
That's
plunger issues
unacceptable.
before. I think we've troubleshoot before where it wasn't lined up right and you got to hit it. I mean, Cary, correct
I
me if I'm
had an
wrong. The
issue with
plunger
my
is not,
Godzilla.
it's got to line up right. It's got to hit right. It's got to
Yeah.
go up the ramp right.
But to
the funny
summarize,
thing
I
is,
like it. I like it a lot, but those issues need to be fixed. But I do like it's really fun. But the last part I'll say is the code. There's like certain, when you get into a mode, there's only certain people you can fight, and when you do that, it's kind of just like you do that and move on. But there's no depth to it really. So that's that's normal Stern to me. They put out code that's like complete-ish to like as a version 1 or not even version 1. But so there's that. The only other thing that I was going to bring up was so the code being a little incomplete. Oh, this idea that you can go to the future and then back to the past. So the future's like this messed up place, and you're trying to like basically fix the history, or fix the future. That doesn't really serve a purpose right now. When you go there, you go there and there's nothing really to do, and it's really hard to play because the lights all turn blue, so you can't see shit. Like you literally can't see shit in the future. So if in the future you're not allowed to see anything, then now keep in mind maybe in a better lit room like Expo you'd see it because they have bright lights.
Yeah.
But there's when you hit the action button, you basically can go from future to past by hitting the action button and then hitting one ramp, and it'll send you back. So I tend to not spend time there because it's actually like really hard to play and there's nothing to do there. So they haven't coded that yet. But I'm probably sounding negative. I'm just trying to be honest about it, but I really do enjoy
Be
it.
honest.
Man,
Cary,
Stern's
go.
not sending you a check this month.
Yeah, man. Cary, no more shirts for him, Cary.
Yeah, his shirt's on fire right now.
He's done.
No, like I wanted to talk a little bit about X-Men. I haven't played it yet, but it's funny is that like my main only complaint during the stream was like I didn't care for the main theme music. When you got into modes, I'm like, these sound great. I like that. That sounds good. But the main theme, I was like, that sounds a little weak. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I should just have a little more oomph, something that I can bob my head to, kind of thing. So I'm guessing in the last update or so, they have changed it. Huh. And evidently, someone on Facebook just thought that it was me that caused them to change it. So all I know, it was like someone tagged you in a post on Stern's whatever kind of thing, and because they were saying like, oh, 0.84 code is out or 87 or whatever. And then someone said, you changed the music. Cary Hardy's taste in music sucks. You ask so-and-so. They agree or whatever. And I'm just like, I didn't think it was my decision on what the music should be. I merely just stated I would rather it be something a little more upbeat.
Yeah, I agree with that. The music
so
didn't do it for me on some of those modes and what was going on. I agree. All right, real quick, this guy's asking, are you going to the Chicago Expo? Obviously, me and Kev are not. We could not jump on that bandwagon and get out there.
Exactly.
But these guys are. They've been there many times, and I'm assuming he's talking about the Pinball Expo. So,
yep.
They will be there. We still got to go over one more. We got to go over Metallica, but he did ask about streaming and what you guys are doing in terms of on your channels. Go ahead, Cary, real quick. How much equipment are you bringing? Streaming are you doing?
Oh, I'm not bringing a bunch. I'll probably bring a tripod, my Osmo, and some microphones because I'll be interviewing a lot of people and stuff like that. But I don't look forward to bringing a whole bunch of stuff because I got to put it in my backpack and carry it along with me. But it's not going to be a lot of heavy equipment. But I'll definitely be doing live streams like I typically do, going around there because a lot of people that don't go to Expo at least would like to see what is there. Yeah. So I try to give people as much as information as that you can. That way you get an idea of what you're missing out on or what you're not missing out on.
Yes, exactly. Ralph.
This year I'm actually going light. I'm just bringing a couple microphones to record I want to record a podcast there. Just kind of like get people's reactions of what they see each night, and so that kind of thing. But I don't think I'm going to do a live stream this year. It's just a lot of work when I go, and I always go extra with that stuff, and I've been rolling tripods and all this shit, and it's just too much. I don't want to do it this year, so I just want to have fun, play, and maybe do a podcast. Yeah,
for sure. Okay. Let's get into just briefly, and then one question before we go. Metallica, we don't know much about it, but what I want to know is, Cary, do you know anything that is going to be different? Can you share any news of what's going to be different about the remastered version?
So, from what I can tell you, this is going to be a Metallica fan's dream. This is Metallica on steroids. The animations are going to be very impressive also, but it is also just a very beautiful machine.
Wow.
So I mean, you're saying it's gonna be a dream, but no, the shots, the table is gonna be the same, but what? Some art differences?
Can't talk about the design or
Okay.
anything like that.
Well, it looks to me like maybe Sparky's gonna be different. I mean, my friend Wolfenose, you know, we were talking before, and he was like, "Yeah, I think Sparky's gonna look different from the way they're portraying him in the trailer." We'll find out more tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, that's the animations.
But the table is a great table to play to begin with. So, I mean, you can't really go wrong with that. Ralph, your thoughts on Metallica? Are you a Metallica fan? I am. I've loved
Yeah,
Metallica.
no, I really like Metallica. The thing is, though, about it that's cool is I think I might like I think that what Stern's doing is they're gonna show it. Well, I mean, obviously they're showing it tomorrow, but they're gonna show it during the tour and then put it on at Expo.
Okay.
That's
So-
what I thought. Yeah.
Which is something I
people-
wish they would have done with Elvira last year, but they didn't. I was like, man, you gotta have at least one.
Yeah,
on
why
display.
they didn't put it on the show floor after doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't get that. But
Put it behind some barriers so he can't play, but at least people can take pictures of it and ooh and ah at it and
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know?
yeah. So I like the original game. So I'm really curious to play it. I really haven't put a lot of time on the original game until more recently because the place that I started playing the tournaments at has one, and yeah, the electric chair thing is really cool. I just hope they do it as good as it was on the original, because that original, when that thing goes off, it's like if you go to any place with that game, it's like you can hear that it's going off. It's dramatic. It's cool. So I hope they do that justice when they redo it. Like, I hope they don't skimp on that because it's such a cool, highlight of the game.
Yeah.
The band was heavily involved on this time around. There's like
wow.
Oh, that's cool.
crap
Okay.
ton of call outs and stuff like that.
Oh.
Also.
That is incredible.
Oh, that'd be
Okay.
cool.
I hope they open up the music library a little bit as well. I'm assuming they're going to have newer stuff on it, but Cary, you can shake your head if.
Well,
know,
you
or
hope
you
not.
can-
I mean, do people like the newer
Well,
Metallica?
the diehard
That's
fans.
debatable right there.
Yeah.
That's debatable, but there was a
See-
couple good songs that they've recently come out. Not great. I won't give them, that.
I mean,
but
to-
if you're a diehard Metallica fan, then you like their new stuff. So,
Yeah.
you got to
To
have
me-
some of it on there.
Metallica died when Saint Anger came out. I stopped following them. So it's been a while since I've been impressed by Metallica, but we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't put too much new stuff on here. I mean, how much new stuff's on the Foo Fighters machine, Rex?
Well, they added
They
a
added
couple
one of their new
songs.
songs.
Yeah,
they
just,
did?
They just added Rescued
Okay.
and Nothing. It's called
that's
Nothing.
cool. So,
Isn't
okay.
Run a fairly newer song? Like newer in their catalog?
No, that was about 3 or
not-
4 years ago.
Yeah,
Is it?
that was
Okay.
3 or 4
well,
years
that's
ago.
new
They-
to me.
Yeah, that's new.
Oh, it was
to me,
actually more
but-
than that. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. I
Oh,
forgot.
really?
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah.
Great video though. Great, one of the best.
Yeah, it's a great song,
music
too.
videos. I love that one.
That's
okay.
in New York, right? Is it New York that plays Run?
I think
remember which city,
Roswell. I think
Oh,
Roswell.
yeah,
plays.
right. It's New Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's New Mexico plays Run. Yeah, so go to that city if you have your one choice of city. Even. Okay, all right. The kids. I got one
Uh-oh,
question
he's-
before we go. Ralph, I know I'm coming. He's going to yell at me. You guys can talk about this. Ralph, go over your 4 machines or 5 machines, and I want to know which one is your least favorite. And same for you, Cary. Least favorite. Okay. Let me talk to the kid real quick. So
Okay.
explain
Okay.
and what.
No,
So-
Ralph can't answer this because they're all Sterns that he's
Yeah,
got.
he
He can't.
They're
he's
all
under
awesome.
NDA.
No.
though. Anything negative.
They're
Well,
holding that check like with a lighter. Like, what are you gonna say?
He's getting you in trouble, Ralph.
I will tell you my honest thoughts on all the machines I have. So, I got the Godzilla 70th. I have a John Wick, an Uncanny X-Men now, Jaws. Do you guys care what models they are? Is that not important? All right. And then Venom. So,
Ooh.
if the goal is to say my least favorite,
The one you would sell if you had
So,
to.
yeah.
well,
Venom.
I'd probably sell Venom. But
Venom,
it doesn't
right?
mean
Yeah.
because I don't like it. I
Yeah.
actually really do like. I'm one of the ones that actually really enjoys Venom. I can get though when people say they don't enjoy it. I think because it's such a standard fan. It's like these are the shots. You know what I mean? And then after that, even though you can change the playfield around by selecting different characters, I
On
can
the
see where
premium
someone,
LE.
Oh yeah, that's true. The pro, the one thing I will say, if I had the pro I hate. When I go to a place that has the pro, I will not play it. It is the pro they messed up. The pro was not good. So I'll say that. But it would probably be Venom if I had to. If one had to go, it'd be Venom. and I'd put Black Knight Sword of Rage in its spot if I could get it one.
Yeah, if you can
Okay.
get a pro
Well,
for the Black Knight, be good. Yeah.
Did I miss you talking about John Wick? Because John Wick got a bad. I got a bad rap, for various reasons. It didn't get.
I love that I
released.
used Cary for clicks. I was like, this guy said the game
Who started,
sucks.
who started that band rap, Rexer? Who started that?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know, but the YouTubers that they used to show that product didn't help the cause. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
And then.
Well, what did you want to know
listen,
about it? I'll
listen,
do a
if-
2-second if you want to know my opinion on that.
Okay, I will, but let me just say this. If they would have involved some other people, they might have at least been able to set the tone or the narrative. Listen, and they talk to him. Listen, there's no guns in the artwork. There's no this, but there is guns in the video, or there is this that will overcome that, or you will, just to lessen the impact. But they went a different route, and I think that hurt them in the long run. But
Well,
all right,
I mean, I will admit it. Like I did over exaggerate. There's no question. I look back on it now and I
good
go,
shock value.
probably
loved
could
it.
have done
I
better
I
on that one,
sent
Cary.
I sent Cary a
Loved it.
text that said, "Dude, you need a Snickers bad."
Every
Not
hour he was correcting himself. I
Not
loved
my
it.
proudest moment, kind of thing. But no, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting expo to run into people that But yeah, that's going to make things interesting. Without a doubt. But yeah. We'll see. But what's funny, that's where I was going, but I forgot. There's this YouTuber on YouTube, obviously, but he's called The Collector. And he's mainly known for collecting guns. Like, he has his room just full of guns. It's beautiful. I mean, like, that's all he does. And he did a video on, I got the most rarest whatever pinball
Oh, I saw that
machine.
video.
And it was a John Wick LE number, whatever number he requested, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And he brings it in, and I was just dying laughing because I'm like, this guy is all about
Dying.
guns.
Didn't even know.
And
Oh
there's
my
no guns on the damn game.
Oh my god.
Did he say anything about it when did he reference that, or he was
He
unaware?
didn't even
I don't think
notice.
he. No, I don't even think he was like. To me,
Jesus.
that guy was like someone that just he was like a hardcore John Wick fan too. So he was just wanted. I don't know that he was like a
Yeah.
hardcore pinball
Yeah.
player, but you could tell just by everything in his house. Like the guy lived in like a super nice
Yeah.
house too. So
He was
he had
doing well.
money.
All right, Cary, which one's going out of the collection?
Whenever it comes down to chewing down the herd to get another game of the future, I think Arnold's got to go. I've had him the longest. I think he's poor guy, but I've had him the longest, and there's a lot in the game, but it's like it's basically like you said, my least favorite. If I had
favorite, okay.
enough room, I'd hold on to him. But
Do you have
since
machines in the garage?
I've got 4 in the other side of the house over here.
Okay.
Two of them are in a portion of the kitchen that we don't really utilize. It's where you would have a sit down, like a breakfast nook or something
Yeah,
like
breakfast
that.
nook.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got 2 games there. I'm like, no, we're not using this space. And then in
Yeah.
the dining room,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do we need a dining room for? Like for Thanksgiving and Christmas? I mean, I can move the games out of the way for that.
All right, Kev, any last things? We got to go in a sec.
Have a good time, and I'll say there is a band playing at the convention called Seventh Heaven. They're a famous local Chicago band, and they go on cruises, they play around the world. They're gonna do if my source is right, a half an hour medley of like 30 songs in 30 minutes. So check
Okay.
it out. It's 8:30 on
Are
Saturday.
you their promoter or
Oh,
what?
that
Are you
sounds
their-
kind of
no.
cool.
No, I love Seventh Heaven.
Oh.
They're real local to Chicago, but they're national too. They have albums out. So I was surprised to see them on the schedule.
Oh, nice.
So
Oh,
that's
oh.
my advice. They're going to do 30 songs in 30 minutes, all covers.
There's the big news of the night.
Rex,
right there.
I'm surprised you didn't ask something like, do you think there'll be any surprises? Like things we don't know
Well,
about.
Okay, well, let me add before I'll give you guys last thing. What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to when you go there? Is there anything off the cuff that you're kind of looking forward to? Ralph, you go first.
Well, I kind of killed the hype a little bit because I bought the freaking machine that's going to be the big front and center. This year, honestly, I'm kind of hoping something surprises me is what my hope is, because usually every year there's something there that you're like, oh, that's really cool. Like last year, definitely, I don't think I was at least for me, I wasn't really thinking Barrels of Fun was going to do anything that was kind of neat, right? And everyone was like very, it was cool. Like, I don't know that I'm not like going to go buy that game, but I also watched the crap out of that movie as a kid. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh man, that would be a cool pinball machine. So I don't know what that's going to be this year because Also, Ninja Clips, or the Ninja Clips was pretty cool over at Turner Pinball because that guy is just so passionate about his project. So he did a lot of really cool, innovative things. Although most of those things I think he took out, but he had some really cool things that he did. So there was a couple things last year that really like got me excited. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
going to be this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
This
maybe
week
there'll
is
be
going to be a
surprises.
bunch of nuggets that are going to drop, guys, during the show, even right before the show. There's going to be so many things that drop. And honestly, I'm one of the things I'm excited about now that was released or kind of shown off and teased, I think it was yesterday, was Tony Hawk Pro Skater pinball machine. That's
Wait,
a
is that going to
homebrew.
be there?
Is that
Yeah.
real?
Oh, that homebrew's going to be there. Oh,
I
I didn't
believe
realize it was
so.
going to be there. Oh,
I
that'll be
think
cool.
it is. I hope it is. I had to read the Nap Arcade again, but I hope it is there because I want to
Okay,
play
that
it.
would be
That
cool.
game looks pretty wicked. I mean, I have a little bit of nostalgia for Tony Hawk, but as like the saw what he's done with the machine, I'm like that looks pretty damn interesting.
Okay, now
to
I'm
me,
excited. I hope that that's going to be there. That will be cool
Mhm.
for sure. Those
Oh, look
homebrews
at
are usually pretty cool,
LDK
even though they
says
break a lot.
ABBA is
but-
going to blow you all away. That's my prediction.
I will have to get some time on that. Might turn into a dancing queen.
All right.
What? Well, hold on.
don't-
That's a question for Ralph. No, hold on. No, don't end this
Okay.
yet. I'm
Okay.
curious. Even being a Stern fanboy, I'm curious. What would you do if you played ABBA, Ralph, and you were just blown away?
I'd be like, "Where's the insider connected on this thing?" And then they tell me it wasn't there, and I go,
They're
sucks.
all about that insider connected.
He'd ask for a
He
shirt,
loves
Cary,
it.
and wear a shirt that said ABBA on it. That's
Yeah.
what I would do. Give me the shirt.
Yeah. Oh, well, what about Avatar? I mean, that's going to be there. I mean, too many people already play it already, and is not exciting.
I think it's going to be a good moment for Avatar if the game is set up appropriately. They've got to have canopies, and people are going to have to hear it. The game shoots fine. It's a beautiful game and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think I still prefer Elton John over because that's just more of my shooter. The shots felt good on Avatar. I can say that when I was shooting the certain shots, the sound of the spinner, I'm like, yeah, I enjoyed it. I just
you
don't
went to-
know if it's gonna just be worth the $12,000 and you're not
Okay.
gonna get what they're selling you on the whole UV stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's a UV. I'm like, you don't see it.
Yeah,
So it's like-
exactly. That's what I.
That's
Yep.
true. And
That-
you played
that-
it, Ralph, at Batcave or where?
I played it at my local guy that's the
Oh, the
distributor
local
here,
guy.
Game Room Goodies, and he literally texted me when he got it. I was like, "Hey, can I come down?" He's like, "Yeah," and I moved a bunch of work meetings around to later on in the day so I could go down there. And it was fun. Like it was fun. I'm still kind of like getting introduced to Jersey Jack stuff. So like every time I see one on location, I try to play it because I'm trying to like get a feel for it. Like I haven't. I'm kind of like within the Cary camp. There isn't like one I've played where I'm just like, that's the one that I want to buy. I do
Yeah.
like Elton John. It is fun, but I'm not like a huge Elton John fan. So I feel like that'd be weird for me to buy that. And then
Yeah.
Avatar, it was fun when I played it, but I also only played like 5 games. But I'm not like, that's not a movie. I tend to like gravitate toward things that are exciting to me or things I
Yeah.
really like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I liked the movie, but I didn't watch
Right.
the second one, and I didn't watch it again like a second time. So it's just not really like that impactful to me.
You don't have 5 hours to watch the second one again,
Yeah.
Ralph?
Is it that long?
Oh, it's like
It's
3
like
hours.
long.
It's so
Oh,
bad.
screw that! I
Both
wouldn't.
are
I wouldn't
both
even.
long.
My
I've
wife.
got no
yeah,
urge to
never.
watch it. I haven't seen the part 2, but I have to.
I mean, the technology is bar none, but there's no story, and you don't want to watch it again. If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, I have the
Yeah.
3D
It's
version.
okay,
and I don't want to.
Carrie. I mean,
you
it's
know.
not bad. It's not horrible, but
No.
it's
I
not-
view like I was talking to someone about this the other day. I kind of view like Jersey. I don't even know if they talk about themselves this way. They seem like they're trying to appeal to some like really high end buyer, and that's kind of what
Yeah.
that's what they should just say they are. That they're like a super high end pinball company, and like they don't want to compete with Stern at all. Like they don't want games on location. They just want them in homes. That's what it seems like to me.
Well, that's what I got from like you spoke with Kale, and that was kind of the way I heard it when he was talking about it and stuff. Like I think I heard him on Don's Pinball podcast and on your show as well. The way he spoke about how they were talking about the game and how Jack himself was speaking and stuff. I'm just like, they kind of feel like they got their nose in the air, that they're happy that they've got a few A-list celebrities that buy their games, and they kind of want to stay on that level of just like we sell to the upper class, so we only sell to them or whatever. That's our clientele.
They might need to
kinda thing.
refine that a little bit, but no, that's what it feels like, though, right? It kind of feels that way. I mean, they even have like when you raise the play field, you don't have to take the balls out. Like they just they have they have like a little mechanism that stops the balls from coming out. So
That's a
they try to-
10-cent part. I don't know why Stern doesn't implement it.
I know. I know.
All right, Ralph, you know, you always yell at me for taking too long or being too long, but you're going to get me in trouble this
No,
time.
dude,
so
when I
we-
said
we
this is what
have to
happened, I was
go.
like, "Hey, Rexer was asked me to come
Right.
on. What do you think?" And she's like, "I don't. Who's Rexer?" And I go, "The best home
what Lady K.
arcade and
Fox says.
pinball channel on all of YouTube." And she's like, "Oh my gosh! By all means, spend
Never mind.
hours, spend the rest of the night. You're telling me you got invited to be on the best number one?" I was like, "Yeah,
That's right.
yeah."
Yes.
Did-
Yeah. She's
did-
like, the
didn't
last
she
night
meet him,
the last
Ralph?
night we
Didn't
have
he
together,
play-
Ralph. But I want you to go on Rexer's show instead.
She did
probably
meet
had
Rexer.
she probably had
Yeah.
Avatar queued up, the second one, to watch a movie. You know. So
Why did you come? Oh, my wife would need 100 intermissions to watch that movie. She doesn't like watching things that long. Why did you? I don't even remember what you came here
You
for.
played
Didn't you
Jurassic
come here
Park,
to
I
pick up
thought.
a Donkey Kong or something?
Yeah, the Donkey Kong,
The
cocktail.
cocktail.
We
Yeah,
came there,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
we went to the bar, played some pinball, and yeah, that was good
Yeah, with
times
Rudy,
actually.
yeah.
I gotta get back to play more pinball and do some stuff. But
Yeah, for sure.
you know, I will. I'll eventually, because you know I got my good friend there too who lives there that I haven't seen in a while. So. All right, we're out of here. All right, thanks everybody. And it
Have
was
a
the
good
best
show,
panel,
guys.
Shreddy
Appreciate
B.
all the
Shreddy B
video
said
you're
it
about
right,
to
right there, the
shoot for
best
us.
panel.
Cary, when do you get there?
My plane lands probably near midnight tomorrow.
When do
Oh.
you get there, Ralph?
5, but
5
by the time I
p.m.
get
tomorrow?
over there, because I have to check a bag, it's gonna be like 7 probably. So
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be looking at your channels for some content.
Yes,
so make
thank
some
you
good
for-
content. All right.
Yes, thank you
we'll-
for the
we'll try.
content.
I'll
ahead
try
of
to
time,
make you
guys.
proud
We
here.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Wanna
we
hear
want to
all the
make
good
stuff
s-
worthy enough to be displayed on the
Yes.
number one
Exactly.
channel.
There you go.
Yeah, Rexer is the Jersey Jack of the YouTube. he's like, I only have these kind of watchers.
I only have the good
Cary,
ones.
you
my
feel more
fans.
people playing pinball, we will play it on the Rexer show.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. We got you.
Yes. All right. We got to go. Thanks
Thanks,
everybody
guys.
for
All
watching.
right,